The dazzling Roman manor of Gaius Trimalchio was ablaze with light. The dining room crowded with guests and buzzing with festive chatter that had gone far into the night. Toasts were given, tales were traded, and drunken laughter boomed, all while the guests were visited by course upon course of the most sumptuous and strangest foods, a spectacle to boggle the mind. Sausages, puddings, dormice, and wild boar, pastries that looked like thrushes, pork sculpted to look like a goose, and a spread of 12 hors d'oeuvres that stood for the signs of the zodiac. And at the center of all this merriment was the host and lord of the home, Gaius Trimalchio himself, his wife Fortunata at his side. Trimalchio's life was a story of rags to riches. Born into slavery, set free, and now in command of astounding wealth after settling in Rome and hitting it big in the shipping business. What the self-made multimillionaire lacked in social graces and the education of a true aristocrat, he made up for with eccentric charm and wild displays of luxury, like his mansion that overflowed with gold and marble and priceless artwork, and the endless feasts he lavished on his guests. It was on this night, at Trimalchio's banquet, that a truly hair-raising tale would leave the guests in stunned silence. After a toast for everyone's good health, Trimalchio spoke next, gesturing invitingly to one of the guests reclining on an adjoining couch. "Niceros, my friend, you used to be more fun at these dinners, a real chatterbox. What's got you so quiet tonight? Tell me your story. It will make my night." Niceros sat up, his heart warmed by Trimalchio's words, and said, "May I never see another speck of money if seeing you in good spirits doesn't put a smile on my face. Well, here's a tale for you all, even though sophisticated company might laugh me out of the room. But, come to think of it, who cares if you laugh? Let's have some fun." And with that, Niceros began his tale. Back in the day, when I was still enslaved, we were living in a narrow little alley. The house is Gavilla's now, you know. And there the gods willed it so that I fell head over heels in love with the wife of Terentius the innkeeper. You remember his wife, Melissa, from Tarentum. A real bacibalum, if you get my meaning. But I swear, on my honor, it was nothing unseemly. Not that kind of love. It was because of her beautiful personality that I fell for her. If I asked her for anything, she was always kind. If she had 2 coins, I had one of them. And however much I shared with her, she never took advantage. Now, one day, her husband died on his estate. So here was my chance. I strapped on my shield and greaves and was ready to fight my battle in the name of love, and I planned my strategy for how to move in. In tough times, you know, we all need to have our friends close. And as luck would have it, my master had gone away to Capua on some business or another, so the coast was clear. I persuaded a guest who was staying with us to join me, a soldier he was, who was tough as nails, and he said he would go with me as far as the 5th milestone on my way to Melissa's. It was the dead of night, in the wee hours of the morning, when we made our way out, and the moon was hanging over us high in the sky like noon. We got among the tombstones at the outskirts of town. My man, the soldier, wandered off to look at the inscriptions on the graves, and I sat down for a rest with my heart full of song, and I started counting the graves to pass the time. But then, when I looked around for my friend, I finally spotted him among the tombs and you'll never believe what I saw. He had stripped himself naked and thrown all his clothes down by the side of the road. I had no idea what to make of it. My heart was in my throat, and I stood still as a corpse. And then this guy starts peeing, a big ring around where his clothes were laying. And I know you're thinking, how can all this get any stranger? But this wasn't the half of it. All of a sudden, before these very eyes of mine, the man transformed into a wolf. A wolf! Please, please, don't mistake me for joking. I wouldn't lie about what happened that night for all the money in the world. This guy turned into a wolf. And then he started howling at the moon. And before I knew it, he took off through the gravestones, ran into the woods, and disappeared. Believe me, after watching this, I hardly even knew where I was. But he was gone, and I came around to my senses again. I went over to his clothes to pick them up, but, for the life of me, they had all turned to stone. I was so scared I was practically dead. But despite all that, you remember, I had a job to do that night. So I drew my sword and got back on the road, cutting at shadows in the dark, all the way until I finally came to the house of my beloved. I walked in looking like death, and felt almost dead. The sweat was running, my eyes were hazy, and I almost couldn't be brought back. My dear, sweet Melissa was surprised that I had been out so late, and she said to me, "If you'd gotten here earlier, you could have at least helped us out. There was a wolf who got into the house and started bleeding our sheep like a butcher. But he didn't get away without a fight, that wolf. One of ours got him right in the neck with a spear." When I heard this, I couldn't keep my eyes closed anymore all night, and at break of day I raced back to my master Gaius's house, fast as a robbed innkeeper. And when I came to the spot by the graves, where the clothes had been turned to stone, I found nothing but a pool of blood. I kept on, but when I reached home, who was there but that soldier, the one I'd gone out with the night before? And here is the worst part. He was lying in bed like an ox, and a doctor was taking care of him, because the soldier had a nasty, fresh wound right in his neck. I realized then and there that this guy was a werewolf. And let me tell you, I could never even sit down to eat with him after that, not if you'd killed me first. Other people can think what they want about all this, but here's what I say. The gods know right where to find me, if anything I said was a lie.